neighborhood of Gary, Indiana. AJ, A-Dub, Marco, and Stretch. Keeping it forthright, vulnerable, and... Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of the InforMILLy Honest Podcast. We are the brothers from Miller, Indiana, Miller Beach, Gary, Indiana. And we come to you talk about this thing called life. No matter where we go, we're going to keep it forthright. We're going to keep it vulnerable. We're going to do our goddamn best to keep it honest. Fellas, what's going on?
Not much.
had to think about it for a second. Double dash, like who's gonna respond first?
We're just trying to be respectful.
That's real.
You going.
Happy Gregorian New Year to all my Christians out there. Shout out that nigga Gregor. And
yeah, I guess we could start with I guess part of our check-in could be how the hell was the holidays?
They were cool on my end. Spent time with the fam. I hadn't turned on my PlayStation in a good at least 2 years, probably 3. So my brother, I spent the whole week trying to convince him to leave me his PS5 so I could play Spider-Man 2 on it while he left his kids with my mom. And I was like, come on, leave your most important child here. And then when you come get the other 2, you can come get the PlayStation. He was like, how about I just buy you Miles Morales because you never got that one. And yeah, so he bought me that. And a week and a half later, I beat it. And so now I'm back at square one. And but that was a damn fun game. It's a fun ride. They are very good and proficient at making those games.
Nice. Okay, quick question on that, really quick. It's my hope and my wish that it's less boundaries. You can kind of move around the city more without hitting that fucking wall where it's like out of bounds.
Are you talking about Spider-Man from PlayStation 1?
Just the free swing. No, I feel like even in the newer ones, or at least fairly recent ones, you still, you can't just during like the free swing or whatever. Like if you're not on a mission, there's still too many boundaries, No,
that hasn't existed.
Maybe it's been a while for me. It's been a while.
That's why I was like, which Spider-Man you talking about?
Not the 90s, man. Come on. I'm just saying. I'm fairly updated, but
no. So since the new, because there's 3 in the newest edition. There's Spider-Man, there's Miles Morales, and then there's Spider-Man 2. In these, you can free swing being the world as long as there's something higher than you around, you can swing on it.
Gotcha. Even helicopters and shit. Yeah.
Whether it be buildings, trees, there aren't really any helicopters, and the only times there are, they're people trying to kill you, so you can't swing on them.
Gotcha. Okay. I thought I remembered that before in one of maybe that was the older joints I used to.
If you run into a wall, you run on it. Like you're swinging and you end up hitting the side of a building, you'll just start running on the side of the building until you jump off.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
Dope. Hell yeah. That's like the beef I used to have growing up with the Spider-Mans. So good to see their I guess they were listening to me specifically. Good to see they were listening to me, man.
But yeah, so that was that. I don't really fuck with New Year's like that, so I ain't really do shit. Good friend of mine's a prolific DJ. He had his Earth Day party on the 30th, I think it was 29th to the 30th. So I did do that and had a damn good time with that. But for New Year's Day, I was sitting in my house playing Spider-Man. So
that's a damn good reason to do it. I was talking to some homies recently about and one specifically, she was like, yeah, I used to feel insecure or feel like it was like a bit of like a loser or whatever, for lack of a better word, if I wasn't doing something on New Year's. And I was like, nah, yo, like that shit's got, I understand that. I understand what you're saying because everybody around you wants to like feel like they got something to do.
Mhm.
But it's
That and people, I don't know if it's like people feel like they want to have like they've got something to do, but because it gets treated like this big old celebratory thing, people want to go out and do stuff.
Mhm.
My big thing is every place is going to be overcrowded and overpriced.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you
Full
want
of
to go out and
idiots.
hang out, that's cool too. Like, do
Sure.
what you want to do, but if you don't want to do it, don't feel bad about it.
No, no,
You
no.
know, just because everybody else it feels like everybody else is out having a ball. Like the FOMO shit's gotta go.
Yeah.
Oh.
Funny enough, like that's the thing that throws me off about the holidays is
Mhm.
there's always that expectation of like, you got to see everybody, and it's for example, like there's a span where there would have been like 5 days in a row where like we were gonna have to see people and be social. I'm like, I can't do that, man. So for one
That's
of the
valid.
days, I'm like, I'm gonna just stay home because like I got to recharge because I can't
Right.
just go here and listen to this dumb conversation. Go here and listen to this. It's like I'm not say dumb conversation, but
They
but
are. It's okay.
Sometimes they are,
but
brother. Sometimes you
but
like,
they're
come on.
always so surface level. Like,
Service
'cause
line.
like I know exactly what I'm going to be asked before I even show up to like, oh, how's work going? Oh, how's like, all right. It's like it's got to be something else we can talk about. But the holidays were good though. I mean, there was no issues over here. Uh,
Mhm.
got to see some family as well. So good.
I I went bowling with a friend of mine recently because as y'all know, I'm moving, and it's one of the might be one of the last time I'm gonna get a chance to see her. So when
Mm.
she hit me with the invite, I was like, I'm definitely pulling up. By the way, just pulling up is I love saying it. I love using that phrase, man. It's so smooth and cool. It's so fucking cool. Yeah, I'm gonna pull up. No worries. Bet. I fucking love that phrase, dude. Damn, it makes me feel so cool. All right. I know it's ridiculous, but and it's just that like, I hit her with the text, like, next thing you know, I hit her like, I'm here. Anyway, um, and another friend I met through her showed up about an hour later, um, and I hadn't seen her in a while either. It was just cool. Her and I got to talking, and she had a mask on. So at first, I didn't realize. Like I thought I recognized her, but I wasn't sure, and I wasn't going to ask her to take the mask off so I could see her face.
Identify
you know,
yourself.
you know what I mean? Because like
Reveal yourself.
some people are definitely particular about still with the like as sensitive as folks were when COVID was in its height, I guess,
I
Prime.
mean, because
in its
it it
rise.
it allegedly has had a resurgence, and I have plenty of people in my circles that are like, yeah, man, I ain't gonna make it. I got COVID. I'm like, damn, that
Yeah, okay. See,
really sucks now. it's,
yeah, that's
it's
why I
like,
didn't want to I didn't want to like press her on it or come off the wrong way. Um, but it was kind of interesting because I got to like, yo, do I know you? Like, and she said her name, and I couldn't quite like. It sounded familiar, but anyway, we got to talking like somebody who just got to meet another person, and 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 I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna start asking you like the questions I want to ask somebody new, or like what kids used to ask, like what's your favorite color and shit. So like it kind of brought that up when you were talking about stupid conversations, especially when you get to know somebody. And it's like, so what do you do for a living? All of
Mhm.
that shit. And one thing she told me was when people ask me what I do for a living, she was like, I tell them my best. And keep it moving and keep it. I love it.
absolutely.
So the conversation just flowed from there and like into like it was such a wonderful conversation of somebody who I think I knew but wasn't
Yeah.
quite sure. So it
Mhm.
was just a new take on getting to know somebody instead of the same typical adulting questions that we feel like we have to fucking ask all the time.
Yeah, I mean, what one thing I can always appreciate if if I need to have the surface level conversation, I can do it. I don't particularly care for it, like most people. But um, when I don't know that there's too many people in my world that I would actually talk to for longer than 2 minutes. That if we got real, like if we got real about it, it's like, yo, how you doing? And I was like, yo, man, I ain't really feeling it today. Like I could go into a thing of like, hey, this is what life has been like for me, and so and they don't take it as like me emotionally taking advantage of them or not asking for consent to their bandwidth and all of that kind of stuff. Like, and people can do that to me too. And so, I don't know.
That's a very good point, bro, because those are things that happen so often, and there are, and they could be mistaken, right? There are definitely times where somebody does it and doesn't realize the other person's bandwidth is really, really low, And
Right.
it could seem like you're taking advantage of them without even knowing. So that you never really hear the term like consent in regards to that.
Yeah, I was gonna say
But
the same thing.
it's interesting, but it happens quite often. So maybe
Mhm.
that's a thing that should become a thing.
Yeah, because I know, like for me, like me and Kirsten talk about this. We've talked about it somewhat recently too. Like, where it's like for me, like if I'm, had a stressful day at work or something, it's like, well, what else am I gonna do besides come home and talk about it? Like that's what
Mhm.
people do. But the issue with that is when I come home in a certain mood and I'm venting about some stuff that happened at work, Kirsten might be going through something. She's like, "Dang, I can't, like it's hard to accept that energy from somebody else when you're already kind of had a long day yourself." So,
Right.
I never even thought about, like you said, consent or like asking the person, their bandwidth, it's just, yeah, I just never thought about that. And until, Kirsten brought it up, she didn't use that term like you use, but
Mhm.
it's the same idea. So
Yeah.
it's just, something to further keep in mind.
Yeah, bro. That's you're right. It usually they don't use that term, but they just say it in other ways, like much more often.
I mean, because as rude as it may come off, sometimes when you ain't got it, you can just tell somebody like, "Hey, I know you're going through a thing right now, and I want to be here for you, but my nigga, I ain't got it. So hold on, hold that thought. We can table this till later,
You
unless
got to
unless
protect
it's
your
time
power too,
sensitive."
man. You got to protect
Protect your
yourself
neck.
too, for sure, for sure, yo. It
So
got to
yeah,
the
I was.
point
Oh,
like where I would just be like, I need 30 minutes, like. She would always ask, usually like, "Oh, how are you doing?" or whatever. And I'm like, "I just need it. I think I need a cool 30." I'm gonna pull up in about 30 minutes. I'm gonna pull up in 30, and and then we can get it going because she worked from home and doesn't talk to anybody but maybe two coworkers for eight or
right.
9 hours. It's like, oh, my baby's back. Always in
Because
the
especially to the people in your world who are going to be the how should I say, like your emotional pillow for most of your like current life, whether
Yeah.
that be your partner, your siblings, your best friends, all that kind of stuff. The people who were kind of there to be your support system.
Yeah.
Making sure you check in with them when you want them to be your support. Be like, hey, you got space to be your support right now.
Yeah.
Amen. Amen,
Are you
bro.
sturdy right now?
Amen. Yeah. Yeah. What's that foundation looking like?
Yeah.
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 Yo,
Because even
that's
then,
true.
a thing I try to practice if I know I got an attitude at the moment, but I know I'm about to spend time, like some quality time with a person. I go, hey, if I get snappy, it's not you. I'm hungry or I'm kind of in a tizzy currently. So don't take none of this to heart. If I have any kind of weird reactions to anything, it's not you.
Yeah.
And
That's
that way
what,
they
Yo,
get to know, like, all right, cool.
that's wonderful,
yeah.
bro. And I think it's a vulnerability in that though that it's not maybe would turn a lot of folks off, but it's like that's part of being in a relationship, especially.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that vulnerability got to come, man.
And I'd rather know than be like, hey, are you good? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
I'm completely on board with that. Cause like I'm the same way. Like, cause for me, I'm like, and we talk about this too, like if you
Yeah.
are in a mood or something, or not even a mood, just whatever, just let me know. So that way I can know how to be around you and so that way we don't get into an argument or a fight about something because of a misunderstanding or
Right.
because I find myself in trouble a lot because of the way I reacted to something, and I didn't even know I reacted in a certain way, but
Mm.
apparently I make faces. So, so I'll, something will be said, and I'll
Uh-huh.
facially respond, not even verbally, facially respond
Right.
to it, and I'm like, what did I do? I don't even know what I did. Like,
That's a
but
really good point, bro.
That was a
yeah.
really good one, yeah.
I actually hit mom's. I hit Nat's mom on a text. I'm gonna start.
Oh.
Yeah, let me clear that up. That's not what I
I
meant.
was, I was like, when you
I
start talking
had
to your mom again?
What?
I had her mom on a text recently about something like that because I had done something and I saw her facial expression on it, like flush red. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But she didn't say anything. It was acting like it was cool. So I hit her on the text later, like, yo, just let you know, I saw that. It's my understanding that it made you feel this way. My bad. Let me know if there was any damage, blah, blah, blah. But it was just one of those things where it happens a lot. And I feel like, especially if it's not your significant other, it's easy for that for that shit to just never get addressed. you know, who
Yeah.
knows if you see that person next, they still feeling a certain way about the fact that you
Still
didn't.
holding on to that, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, real provocative shit.
I want to stay on this for a little bit and see if y'all got a response for it. If you had to say one of your best communicative qualities and one of your communication struggles,
Oh wow.
what would you say those are? Like, I'll start off to give y'all time to think. Not that I have answers, because I love asking questions that I'm not prepared.
No, me too. I feel you.
Or prepared for. I think one of my better communication qualities is that I can be very self-aware. So that I consider myself quite self-aware and pretty empathetically aware, so that I could say, "Hey, this is how I'm feeling about this," and so bring my own personal experience to it with all the compassion and empathy that I can, so that I can say, "Hey, you feel like something's off. Hey, are you good? You feel a little heavy right now. You want to talk about it? If not, that's completely cool. But if there's a way that I could be a support to you, like I can be pretty accommodating, if that makes sense. Struggle if I know that there's a point of contention that I don't feel like dealing with, I'll hold on to that shit for fucking ever.
Yeah, I get that.
I can easily deal with issues outside of myself, but if I know that the issue is going to really require like combative growth,
Mhm.
or like the only way to make amends is through conflict, I'm pretty conflict avoidant in these latter years.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm unfortunate. Unfortunately, I'm probably the same way. I wish I could be more,
Right.
because I know, but but the reason being is it's not because I'm afraid of conflict. It's not because I don't. It's not because of that. It's just a lot of times it doesn't even in the conflict. It doesn't. Nothing is resolved. A lot of times, it's just
Mhm.
tempers, and so I'm like, well, I just keep it to myself because it's not going to resolve itself anyway. So, and that's probably not a good way to look at things either. But no, but to answer your question, I would probably say that's probably my struggle as well. Um, as far as strength, I mean, I'm not. I guess I could say I just like being on the same page with people, like even about the smallest of things,
Mm.
um, like yeah, I always just say that, like if there's something where I'm like, I know we're trying to get something done, or I just like almost overly giving information, like especially like in like a work environment.
Mm-hmm.
Like
You'll do the work necessary in order to get on the same page with another person.
Yeah, I try to. I mean, yeah, yeah.
That's right. That's real. That's valid.
I would say, I
And
guess,
very necessary.
Yeah, or if I know, like for example, like for example, like when I can't get episodes posted, for whatever reason, I'll try to be like, hey man, my computer's messed up or whatever, just because I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I don't want other people saying like, what is this dude doing, or like what, like I don't want people to be questioning my actions or whatever. So I like just
Yeah.
be out front with it, like, yo, this is what's going on. This is the XYZ, like, you know. So and that I think that's a strength, but
No, it is, because it is a
yeah.
thing that that a lot of people struggle with, and that, my friends, is called accountability.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
Like,
That is true.
I think that is, I think that is one of the most top tier virtues a person can have, is self accountability.
Oh, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Definitely agree with that. And I definitely agree with the fact that you are like that. That
Absolutely.
you do well in that arena, for sure.
Thanks. If I can.
Yeah, man. You walking into that arena with a scholar, ain't nobody fucking with you.
And honestly, Adam, it always gives us at least me. I can speak for myself, and I think I speak for Aaron and our ghost. I'm gonna talk shit about Marcus because I love him, and we go. It's fine, but it's that it gives such a level of security to know, like, you take it so serious, and you take responsibility for the parts that you play, because none of this shit happens without you. It's just what it is.
Sure.
And you being such a, and probably the most, in my opinion, integral part of this team. You say something ain't gonna happen. I ain't got no choice but to go. All right. Because if you don't do it, it ain't gonna get done. So, and that's my own self accountability, to go, like, I be fucking up, and I know I should do more, and it takes so much bandwidth to get it done. Not to say that it takes less for you or anything, but yeah. And so I respect it, I honor it, and yeah. If you've been like, hey, niggas, ain't another episode ain't coming out for another 3 weeks, I'd be like, well, guess we on hiatus. So yeah, always grateful to you, man, and always grateful for how much accountability that you always show.
Sure.
I can.
Let's see.
Hey, Dub,
If I
what about
was
you?
to have to, let's see, trying to pick a strength here. I guess I could say a sense of relatability to whoever I'm communicating with. Like an openness.
Elaborate on that. Okay.
An openness to their perspective, their experience. Like really trying to place myself there,
Yeah.
Like, without immediate judgment, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
And
innate commiseration, if you will.
Yeah, because I guess I'm curious anyway. I've always been curious anyway. So I'm really, really trying to find a common ground so we could be, like Adam said, on the same page, and like have some clarity among us, that we're like, even if we're disagreeing on such and such and such and such, we're pretty clear that there's common ground, at least here. I'm very interested in finding the common ground. Especially if we have to work with we have to do something. I would like to find common ground, even if it's just to get this shit done and out of the way. I think you need at least that for some shit to be somewhat productive. And especially on I hesitate. I was about to say self accountability, or self awareness, because I know like in the work, it brought up some experiences for me, like especially in the workplace. I can be pretty good about that, even if I'm struggling with the fact that I'm not as good at this particular thing myself. Usually, when I'm confronted, in a review with that very thing, I'm often find myself saying, "I actually agree. That's actually how I feel." And this has happened over the years. Like how, like before your review is coming up, they'll give you a sheet to review yourself, and then you turn it in, and you know what I mean. And then you see if both yourself and the managers or whoever's the reviewer agree without actually seeing the same paper. And it's usually pretty. It's usually pretty balanced. So I found that I've been able to, even if I'm struggling with it and not liking it and having an issue with it myself, which is mine to deal with, I can usually like acknowledge
Mhm.
that I'm on the same page with wherever my weakness might be in a particular field or whatever. Because that's also because I really want to know. I want to see clearly. Um, yeah, but I guess weaknesses would be, or a weakness would be sometimes, especially if I'm not being understood, like wanting clarity so much that it could be a thing of running towards conflict, you know,
Mm.
um, and like wanting the clarity so much, and if it's having challenges when not being understood, when it doesn't seem like both parties are
Mhm.
open for that understanding, and like wanting to stay in the game. Um, and that could just be bullheaded. Like those moments, I just need to communicate, like in the moment, be like, "Yo, do we need a break here?" you know, just to
Mhm.
like cool off or whatever, and try, even if it's just try something new. Try like in the moment, trying something different. So sometimes it can become bullheaded, and just I got to be able to get better at knowing when to take a break, man.
Mm.
The clarity doesn't have to come when I think it needs to come. You know what I mean? That's not giving each person space. So
That's true.
yeah,
Work.
that was a very good question, bro. That was some top tier. I'm gonna have to pull up on you next time and try to get some more. You know what I mean? See what else.
I mean, sometimes I'm a good host.
Yeah.
So with that, as far as weekly communication alone, we were talking about your move. So let's get into this conversation about transition, right?
Mm.
Transition can happen a lot of different ways. Of course, there's a transition of life to death. That we're not going to talk about right now. I was just saying that. So
I
the
mean, we
transition
could.
between
I'm open to. We could. I guess
no,
we
we
just don't
could,
know.
but
I guess there's not much we can say about death because we haven't died. But
and yeah, we could be here all day with that conversation. uh,
Talk about that
with
to
with this
death.
trans, you say what?
So we could talk about that to death.
Yeah.
You know?
With this transition that you're going through with going from Atlanta to South Carolina,
North,
North.
North Carolina, excuse me.
north.
Um, and isn't North Carolina still considered the South? Am I remembering that right?
Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, Tennessee and Kentucky are considered the South, and they're much further north than North Carolina.
But they're all below the Mississippi River or something like that, like the Mason
I
Dixon
believe.
line. I think it was.
Yeah, I think that's the determining factor.
Yeah. Anyways, inside this transition, what are you looking forward to? What are you a little intimidated by? What are you leery of?
Hmm. Wonderful question, and one that I could answer rather easily. What am I intimidated by? What am I a little leery of? There's a monetary aspect there that because I'm essentially, so to speak, leaving a air quotes secure job,
Mm-hmm.
where money's coming in consistently. You can count on it, if you will, um, bills are getting paid. Um, leaving that and figuring out leaving that and going to a place without something completely set in stone. I have things in the works, but nothing is completely set in stone. So there's a reason to be
Okay.
leery there. But on the other hand, there's an excitement in that as well. Um, I found it even when I do like a move or trying, go like when I went from Indiana to Georgia. Um, I knew I was staying with my sis, but
Mm-hmm.
didn't have a job. But there was still like an excitement in like something new. So there's both of those kind of at play there. And the intimidated part is how I know I'd like to make money, and how I might end up making money until I get to where I can do what I like to do to make money. It's that thing again, you know? And this is not illegal, y'all. Anybody who's like, oh, he just beating around the bush, that motherfucker, pull up on me and see. But yeah, dog, I'm sorry. You should just put a fucking ding. That's number 5. A counter. But I know I'd like to do something more in the arts and even or something with more freedom, more creative freedom in it. But that also comes with great responsibility because if it's on me if it doesn't get done, it's on me if it's not promoted properly or marketed well. If the business is off, it's on me. Um, and knowing that it may be helpful to get another job that I don't prefer to help facilitate that for as long as it may need. So those are
Yeah.
things that the typical, I guess you could even call that a typical story that you might hear, you know?
Word.
But it's intimidating because I know the responsibility is me, man. It's on me. It's on me to make those tough decisions. It's on me to have the guts to follow a path that I would prefer rather than one that's a bit more comfortable.
Word. That's real. I
And
mean,
knowing that it's easy to get too comfortable in a salary job that pays decent.
mhm.
Um, you know.
If
So
I could offer any kind of possibilities to you, because I don't know that I have any connections in North Carolina, but some googling that you could get into. Besides the job that you're clearly dressed for, which is Uncle Ben dressed as a candy cane. Uh,
yeah, Uncle Ben
uh,
was not expecting the Uncle Ben. That was good.
it's because you said great responsibility, so I've been thinking at
Oh
the same
yeah, yeah,
time.
yeah. There we go. I love
Uh,
it. I love it.
Yeah.
um,
Connection is everywhere.
But have you looked into any community art centers or possible art schools that are around that could be looking for art teachers or drop-in painting classes or starting even a paint sip, paint date night, what things of that nature that you could be in an artistic space
I
that
have looked at. Oh, sorry. I don't
no
know if
go ahead.
you could. So good idea. One. Um, I have looked at different schools. I've actually looked into going back to school, like
Mhm.
even more specific to like what particular medium I'm looking for, like just to learn oil painting or something. You know what I mean? Like if
Mhm.
their classes like just specific for that, night classes or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, I just you guys know that my previous job here that I'm leaving is I was a teacher. Um, so
I
I've definitely looked at like
didn't know
teaching as
that, to
well.
be completely
Oh
honest.
wow, that's dang. Maybe well, yeah, maybe that's another communication weakness of mine.
I knew you were
I
at a
just
school, but I had no
I
idea
just don't
that you
say
were a
shit.
teacher.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, so I was a teacher. Um, so I've definitely looked at that as well. So things are at play, but one of the things that I want to do, and I guess I'm will be somewhat of a change is in this new place, I'll have an art studio of my own, an art space that I can close the door and leave shit. I'm putting plastic and like tarps down. So I'm not worried
Mm-hmm.
about messing up and I can leave a paint. I can leave everything as is instead of having to clean it up. So I have my own
Mm-hmm.
dedicated space to
Nice.
just grow. So and I think that would help me feel more comfortable teaching somebody else once I got a certain level of understanding and experience in the game consistently on my own. That would help me gravitate more into the, paint and sip and different things like that once I got back into the groove on my
Mm-hmm.
own. So,
So
uh, yeah,
even though
yeah,
even though I think there's plenty of people out there, not saying that it needs to be your particular experience or
yeah,
journey, there's plenty of people out there that just learn the science of their thing and then they go teach people the science of their thing. Doesn't necessarily mean they have a passion toward it or have that much aspiration towards self growth. Um,
yeah.
but
That's
if
true.
they know some level of basics or application, then they just go teach people that thing or those aspects so
Yeah,
they can
nah,
earn
you're
some
right.
money.
Nah, you're right. You're right. Um, um, I feel like we've mentioned this a little bit too before. Um,
Who knows? We have over 100 episodes. It's
this is
likely.
true. Um, Kind of like I think it's similar to an answer, and then correct me if I'm wrong, Adam. Like, let me know if I'm butchering this. But an answer you gave was on par with like you just know. I think it was. I think the question was asked, "What would you do?" I think Kirsten actually asked the question, "What would you do if you weren't doing what you're doing now?" You know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
you
Yeah.
she
would be
did.
like an artist of some sort, just a
Yeah.
creative. You're just expressing yourself what based on I guess what feels natural in the moment. It might not
Yeah.
always be woodworking or whatever
Exactly. Because I mean,
every
I'm
time.
interested in so many in different things. And I mean, I want to get to a place where I can literally, mix things that I do
Yeah.
together. Like, maybe
Yeah.
woodworking, but also, I don't know, something else that I do and make one project. So yeah, I mean, that's what I would love to do. Uh,
Yeah. So that's kind of
but
that's kind of what I've been that's kind of the feeling. I'll finally have that dedicated space to like have several projects and the space, literal, the actual
yeah,
square
that's
footage
important.
to have several things going on at once that I can kind of jump um,
Hmm.
to express that, and a dedicated space for that. So, but I'm also thinking like, so I think of like a Picasso, and I, hate to bring him up because he's probably, but for this, I think it's important. It actually like works. He did so many different things, and at some point they just kind of blend together because it's you doing it. You still have this in one thing, you have the same passion that you bring to the other thing, you know?
Hmm.
It's still the same creative freedom and everything. So, and the same intensity, I guess. So that's kind of
Yeah.
what I'm hoping for. But it also, so to answer your question, that's kind of what I'm hoping for. But it also intimidates me in a way because I know how I can be. Y'all know, um,
The
you know,
audience doesn't. How
I
can you
got,
be?
I gotta, fucked up. Um, I just got to give myself grace, man. You know what I mean? And so, like, that's been a journey for as long as I can remember, dog. A tale as old as time. But
Mm.
yeah. So, like, that's
It, um,
to answer
right.
your question. That's it. That's like the yin and the yang. The intimidated, but the thing that I know I gotta do to get where I want to be. So,
Word. Adam,
you know,
can you recognize any points currently for yourself that are in transition?
um. Well, you know what? I mean, it's kind of. I mean, since we're on the subject, I don't know if you would consider it a transition, but I am planning on like taking my my art stuff a little bit more serious than I have in the past. Which
Excellent.
some people might say, "I thought you were taking it serious," but um, just dedicating
Serious is
more.
relative.
Yeah, it is. Because like for me, it's like in my mind, it's like I know what I've done and I've toyed around with things like this is I've never been like okay, I'm about to like seriously attempt to make this my lifestyle. Like, that, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm,
Mm-hmm.
trying to do. Cause
Yo, let me
like,
just say
and I
something really
said,
quick.
because,
Can I
yeah,
interrupt you
go ahead.
one quick? Just to what you said. That's what I meant
Yeah.
about Picasso. It became his lifestyle.
Okay.
That's the
Yeah.
difference. That's what I meant.
Lifestyle.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt, but that was like
No,
a perfect way to
yeah.
say it, bro.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
that's really it. Cause like, it's one thing to, like I said, I use the word, I've messed around and toyed around with things here and there. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but I've never given myself the opportunity to continuously do things like for
Mm-hmm.
example, like I've been on YouTube. I kind of jokingly, say, I have different phases on YouTube that I've
Mm-hmm.
done, but the fact of the matter is every single one of those phases have been, kind of relatively successful. Like I don't have hundreds of thousands of views on videos, although I do on one video, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't, I don't have it. It's not a consistent thing, but I'll explain. Let me do that. So years ago, years ago when I was, oh, this maybe 15 years ago when I was making those cardboard guns, whatever. I was
Mm-hmm.
making cardboard guns. I made a couple of videos of put them on YouTube, and that video got over 100,000 views. Like
Shit.
kind of before that was even really like anyone cared about views on YouTube. Like I
Mm-hmm.
said, this was like 15 years ago, and I didn't even care about it. I was like, oh, cool, and I moved on. I think I put like my robot on there that did
Mm-hmm.
okay, and there was other stuff. So in my mind, like, man, if I was just consistent with this, I might have been able to build something over the years. Um,
Mm-hmm.
then fast forward to my woodworking days when I could do woodworking, when I had the space to do it. Like Aaron was talking about, space is important. But back when I had the space to do it, and I had videos, again, not hundreds of thousands, but thousands of views, kind of relatively consistent. Then I, was in a
Mm-hmm.
place where I couldn't do woodwork anymore. Then I picked up photography. So I have photography videos. Again, it was, semi, semi successful. Like I think I would have found more success with consistency. But
Mm-hmm.
then I just got unmotivated from that. So now I'm like, okay, let me stop messing around here and just, because for me, in my mind, as far as YouTube is concerned, I always feel like it's got to be one thing, but that's not who I am.
Mm.
I'm always doing different things. So I'm like, how
Right.
about I just do that, and it'll give me more opportunity to share my art, because I'm not having to stick to one thing like woodworking, which I'm not even in a position to do woodworking because I live in an apartment. So I don't have like a
Mm.
garage or a backyard to do stuff in. But I've been sewing since April. I haven't shared anything with anybody
Hmm.
because I just haven't. But I've been kind of, doing things behind the
Yeah.
scenes. Uh, and that's kind of going to be my new craft. I'm going to do my other things. I'm going to, do cardboard as well, and just kind of mix it. And I'm going to try to learn new things, and just really put as much effort into it as I can. I know I can't do full time, but I'm excited though. I just have a lot of ideas, and I'm just tired of seeing other people. And I don't mean this as a slight at all, but I'm just tired of seeing other people that I know. I hate to say this, but that I know that I'm better than artistically. I know it's not a competition. It never is. But
It
there's
is.
people that I see like, oh, that's okay, but they're making a living. And I'm like, dude, I
Yeah.
could I could do this too. And that's all I'm saying.
And
Mm-hmm.
the thing about it is, I feel you that, art is subjective and it shouldn't be a competition. It is
Mhm.
because of capitalism.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
capitalism makes it the competition. Um, and if I could offer any 2 cents that you can by all means completely ignore, um, uh, because your creativity is what you're marketing. I think the more branding and promotion you put toward your creativity, because a lot of times people will say, like, oh, you're the product, not
Mhm.
necessarily the things you make. The things you make become great because people are invested in you.
Yep.
I know you're a recluse. You're a recluse. So that is a pointless thing to say. And I know you want to uh, preserve, no matter how big your products may get and your art may get. If you could preserve your anonymity, that would be the preference. If
I
I
mean,
know
look,
you to any
I,
degree.
like, hold on, Ricky, before you finish. Like, for
Yeah.
me, like, I don't have any issues putting my name on my work or even putting my face on things, at all. It's just I just don't like you say, I am a recluse, and I don't love social things, but it depends though, because I remember going to this event when I was in Korea. There was
Mm-hmm.
like this it was like this I don't even know what the heck to call this thing, but it was like a artist gathering. Let's call it that. So,
Mm-hmm.
but it was cool though. It was social, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. But basically, it was this thing where there was photographers, there was models, there was painters, there was dancers, there was there was drag show, everything you could think of
So,
was at this event, and it was just so fun because is there. Everyone has the same mindset. Everyone there does some level of art, but everyone was there to do the type of art. So there was
mm-hmm.
someone literally painting a mural. There's this event. Someone is painting a mural on the wall. Then you have someone doing pole dancing in the middle of the thing, and
Mm,
then there's people over here doing photo shoots. Then there's a bar, and so if it's that thing, then sign me up. But it's like
right.
I don't need to go to the thing where you know
Everybody's just talking.
yeah, standing on the wall.
They've done
Yeah.
stuff, but
Mhm.
it's not about the art. And that's what I'm saying. Like I think
Yeah.
the the equal investment that you making an equal investment not only into the things that you create, but really showcasing your process and the creativity is probably going to also strengthen the success rate of your work.
I'm
So the
so glad you said that because
yeah.
that's the vision really. Because before it was like, okay, let me record myself making some stuff, throw some music on it, and I'm like, that's fine, but it kind of gets boring after a while, and I feel like YouTube has evolved from that. Like,
Hmm.
so I think you do need to add more, and like you said, like the thought process behind things, and just like kind of like I'm not gonna say the science of art, but like just a little bit more, like
Yeah.
just and that's exactly what I've been thinking about doing, and just kind of jotting down notes and trying to figure out how to make that like a thing. So I'm glad thank you for saying that.
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. All
You
right.
know what, man? I'm
Uh, you
it,
can send the invoice to Ish Movement LLC for consultation. Uh,
for sure. You know what? I just want to say something real quick. In this talk of like evolving and just go transitioning, evolving,
Oops.
there's something there that always excites me is like not knowing what will be the end of the thing. You might want it to look like this or whatever, but like
Yeah.
the cool aspect of you have no idea what it'll evolve into, and that means that it could be even cooler than you expected. Like
Oh, absolutely.
I've been visiting families and like old clients, like outside of the school who I worked with in home before I started working at the school because I'm
mhm.
leaving, just kind of doing my rounds and thanking them and everything. And one particular guy is a lawyer, client's father, and he was showing me around their house and like the different art. And he was like, "That's a lady who I went to law school with. She did not like law. She did it for her parents. Her family was like pushing her to do it. She finished it, was miserable, and then finally said, 'Fuck it, I have the guts. Or if I don't have them, I'm gonna find the guts to fucking follow this particular path that I want.' That's exact opposite of what the fam wants me to do. But I've been miserable, blah blah blah." And it went from like her saying, "I'm going to be my own artist." She started painting, and she was very much into the experience for, which is, you don't see this very often. She'll come to your house and help you hang the painting and tell you where it might look best in your house, help you
Mm,
That's
pick the
cool.
frame, and like give you a payment plan. So you have to you just say it's 10,000. You could put a
mm,
down payment of a couple $100, and then she'll put you on a payment plan, which also is not a big thing. And then
Yeah.
from that, she was able to make enough money to pretty much refurbish a shack into like a small gallery. And then from that, she got a big ass gallery in a nice part of Atlanta. And she's loving it, man. And now she's curating other artists' work who transitioned from whatever job they were doing and found what they
mm,
love. And so just to see it transition and evolve into that, where she thought maybe I'd just be a painter, and now she's painting and helping other people out and giving and she's even in the gallery space because galleries have to take a certain amount. She's able to give people payment plans and stuff, which you don't always hear. So she's able to still respect the customer and give that unique experience while helping herself and the artist and not being in fucking law school, not doing law. So it was just really, he was telling me that he was like, he ended the story with just, bro, you never know where this shit's gonna, like, where it will take you if you just have the guts, man. If you just have the guts.
You got to try it though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, and that's for me. Like, I've tried it, but I've been, a little scared or not even scared. Maybe didn't have the motivation, didn't have or literally didn't have the opportunity anymore. Because like when I was doing the woodworking, I didn't stop because I wanted to stop. I stopped because I got shit Korea and I couldn't do it anymore. And then when I came back, I did a little bit, and then just, it just kind of faded away. But if I had like a legitimate, like you were saying, a workshop or whatever, a studio, then I could do things like woodworking. But now that I live in an apartment, I was like, I need to find something that I can do in a small space, no matter what. And like, well, I used to sew, and then that, went to another. So, yeah.
Word. Next time y'all are out here, which I know likely be Adam before it's Aaron, but either way, I want to take y'all to a couple older gents' houses that I've been got connected to through dance. That their whole house is just full of art.
Oh, nice.
One of them, he co-manages or co-owns a gallery on 43rd and Drexel. And so the gallery itself, I don't know if curates. He's an art buyer and trader and broker and all of that. So in there, he's the one that's choosing all the artists. I'm sorry if y'all can hear this alarm that's going off.
All good.
But yeah, and his house is like all the sections of his house are curated a certain way. Like in his basement, he has what's called the Red Room, which is like the whole theme of it is red walls and kind of like black pain. So it's like paintings of Black liberation or breaking bondage or transcending whatever woes that have happened in American Black history. And then he'll have like his self portraits around the hallway of his bedroom. Like his whole house is just full of stuff: sculptures, paintings, the whole nine.
Nice.
That's dope, man.
And I haven't had the chance to go to another elder, one of his good friends, his place, which I found out he was into photography at one point, and he did a whole like apparently one thing he did was a whole document series on pimps throughout Chicago and possibly nationwide. And so he has like a whole like exhibit of stuff of pimps. And I really, really want to see it just because I had
that's
to
probably
period over summer.
Yeah, for real. See if I recognize myself in any of them.
Because I know, like, when we think of pimp, I can't say everybody, but some people think of like the caricature, the dude with the suit,
right?
But we know that that's not
how.
Like everybody, dudes that's just wearing sweatpants and a hoodie, and they do this also doing some major pimping here.
Right. Anyways, I still encourage everyone to watch American Pimp because it is one of the funniest documentaries that has ever existed.
Oh boy, it is. Oh boy,
it is. It's horrible. Don't take this as an endorsement of these are great people or this is a good message. But but if you just want unadulterated hilarity, go watch American Pimp. It's on. I don't think it's on YouTube because it's way too vulgar. But
be clear that our chuckling is in regards to the hilarity of this documentary, not in agreement on what's going on.
No, not at all. Like I'm fully aware these are horrible people. But when you hear somebody just contradict themselves so fast, in an almost kind of Rick Jamesy way, where one dude was like, uh I can't remember exactly what he said, but the whole time he was talking about how uh his business does not exist without his hoes to get the money. But bitches are too stupid, so he's the one that has to manage the money. And I was like, wait. And
Makes sense.
I'm saying bitches because that's the way they put it. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, so like they'll tell you everything wrong with what they do while also justifying in their world why they do it.
Yeah.
It's
No,
it's
that's
Yeah,
absolutely
man.
hilarious.
I can believe it.
But yeah, next time y'all are out this way, if we can coordinate, I'll hit them up and be like, "Hey, can we come by the house?" Especially if I find out they have an event during the warmer months. The guy who I was talking about first, he'll have like Sunday dinners every week where he and a friend will like just cook a whole bunch of shit, have people over and socialize. And
That's cool.
this one dude who was running for some city office or something like that. He wanted to help endorse and get him in the community because he was running for alderman for where our studio is going to be. I don't even know if he won or not, but
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, where's your studio gonna be? I mean, just GWiz information.
You said where?
Like, I was just asking, where's the studio gonna be?
It's going to be on 54th and State, so literally around the block from my house.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
Man.
Yeah,
And I'm
really
finally
nice.
in an apartment that I think I'll actually be in for some substantial amount of time. It's not going to be finished until spring 2025, I think.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Um,
so
so
this is
we
a
still
new
got
building
something.
that's been built?
Yeah, we're getting
Oh,
Dickie
okay.
Rooted is getting a whole new state of
Yeah,
the art facility built.
yeah, because I know there was one being built, but of course it could be a prior building being renovated
No,
or ground
I
up.
think they're building it from scratch.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, that's
Um,
always a fascinating thing to see. Just a hole in the
man,
ground, and then now it's a building. It's like, dang.
Somebody's
literally see
vision.
that because they
Yeah.
just built a new apartment complex across the street from me,
Okay.
and so I've like seen that entire process of
Yeah.
being a vacant lot to.
Yep. Yeah.
So I can't wait
So,
for that shit. I'm highly looking forward to it. Hopefully, I'll still be in some degree employed by Deep Rooted so I could do shit there without having to pay crazy rates.
yeah.
Um,
Bro,
but yeah,
any
first day. Yeah, go
let
ahead.
me ask you that same question, Josh, that Adam and I answered in regards to like transition and excitement or hesitations during any transition that may be coming in the near future or sometime in the future.
I was in for a good while. I was in a place of transition where I thought I was going to retire.
That's why part of
Uh,
why I'm asking, because I remember that.
yeah, so I'm giving myself to March to make that decision because that's when they said they need to know if we resign our contracts or not. Um,
Mm.
but the place I'm in because what was this? August? Yeah, August to November was the best I felt dancing in the past 3 years.
That's good.
Yeah, I agree.
Was it like
Yeah.
best you felt like physically or mentally or both?
Both.
Okay.
Damn,
Both,
That's
that's a
good.
very much
win-win.
so.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, it was just it was a way that it was kind of an acceptance of this is what my body is. I'm not fucking 22 anymore. And so at the time 34, and it's just I'm not dancing how I was when I was a kid. I need to stop trying to dance like I was when I was a kid. I need to I finally figured out the place of dancing for myself and not trying to get validation from my director. Uh,
Oh,
which was
wow.
kind of a really big thing that I thought I was in the space of doing, but I wasn't.
Self-awareness once again. Going
Self
back.
awareness.
Yeah.
And
That's powerful,
so
dog.
yeah, it was just it was a lot of things where I told myself I was giving myself the year, and I would have still the year being September to August. But we just got a new thing in our contract saying that so the company can kind of protect itself. We gotta affirm or deny whether confirm or deny whether or not we re-signing in March. And it was a thing of I was like, yo, if dance continues to feel like how it's been feeling for the past 2-3 years, I was like, yeah, I got to be done because it beyond it not being fun anymore or anything, it didn't feel worth it for all the work that's required to do it, especially for the when I know I don't really care about money, but I'm like I'm really not being paid. I wasn't being paid enough ever, and I'm really not being paid enough to go through the absolute physical and mental turmoil that I was fucking going through, related to and unrelated to dance. I was like, it's just not fucking worth it anymore. So I was in that terrified place of transition, just being like, I don't know what the fuck is going to happen with this for the past damn near 30 years. I've been dancing.
Yeah.
And doesn't mean that I was going to completely leave dance itself, but to not be on this side of being on stage and doing all the things necessary for that when dance is already not lucrative and it's a very difficult field to work in professionally when you don't, I don't care to start my own organization and I don't care to get stuck only working with kids.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of those two things is what you're going to end up having to do once you're on the other side.
Mm.
And so, because what in an ideal world, I am teaching, I am primarily choreographing where I can go like, oh, I know I'm planning out my year to say, okay, for these 3 weeks, I'm going to be in Canada choreographing on this company. And then in January, I'm going to be at this college. In February, I'll be at this dance studio. And then in March, I'll be with this company. Like I would love to plan out my year to work, choreograph, and teach like that. But the issue usually with choreographing is you either have a name, you're doing competition you're doing sorts of competitions or you're in the commercial world. That's just what it kind of is. And I don't live in LA, nor do I really do quote unquote commercial dance. And so without that, I'm not going to book the Kendrick Lamar tour like I know I should be choreographing for because a lot of these acts are fucking mediocre.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, that's kind of the main challenge. So now with dancing feeling better, it gives me a space of being like, oh, if I get to dance like this, I can continue to do this for a while. But I just couldn't do what the fuck I was doing. And working on trying to get my name out there choreographically and build up in a way that I thought I had been doing. But, you know, you find out you may not have earned as much as as much as people made you believe you did.
That's respect, bro. There is no growth without that. Yeah, without that awareness, man.
And so, right now, we go back to work tomorrow. We've been on break for 2 months since November 3rd. So just getting ready for those dance things. I got a residency at Purdue coming up. I got a workshop period out in Ohio that could hopefully lead to a job. And a residency out in what is that, Springfield, Illinois for a period. Like setting some stuff up over the next like 6 months.
Yeah.
That hopefully lead to some shit. Hopefully, what was it? I was supposed to build a relationship with the Wonder Museum that I kind of let fall through the cracks. So I need to figure that out. Hopefully, they'll accept a call when I finally get in touch with them.
Mhm.
But yeah, right now it's just trying to build more shit to hopefully build more shit.
That's what's up, yo. I want to at some point revisit that question you asked earlier. Um, maybe the next few episodes, whenever it seems most relevant, I guess. But I'm saying in the future because I know, like, once I'm there and have a space and less
Mm-hmm.
excuses beyond motivation or whatever, just like in the grind again. Um, I want to revisit that. What are my strengths and weaknesses in regards to communication, but via my art, via whatever art I'm working on at the time or whichever one I'm spend most time doing. I want to be able to have a better answer on how I communicate. What is there a strength and a weakness via that particular method or medium of art? You know,
When you
I
say
want to.
communication, you mean your intention versus your presentation?
Yeah. I, I guess I guess I was thinking. I feel like I was gravitating more towards, can you see that this is Aaron? Is it unique to, you know what I mean? If you were
Yeah,
to,
so I mean,
if you, yeah, so I guess
yeah, so like if I'm choreographing the work and I'm like, oh, this piece is about, I don't know, my depression. And then when you see the piece, you're like, I don't know, man, that made me pretty fucking happy. Then like intention versus interpretation rather than whatever word I said before. Like
yeah.
trying to work on making sure the messages that you're trying to convey through your art are visibly legible, if you will.
Yeah, because that's like, otherwise it's really difficult to speak to a weakness outside of, okay, if you're going based on the painterly standards of, if you know, if you're trying to, realism or something, it would be more grade school standards of, this is weak because this particular highlight is in the wrong space, or everybody
Mm-hmm.
knows that cool colors are supposed to look this way next to such and such. Outside of like that, to me, the only other way you could really bring about a weakness, and maybe, and correct me if I'm wrong, would be, do you feel like you got the point across the way you wanted to, or
Yeah,
whatever you were feeling in that moment?
I think all art has two versions of a way people receive it, and that's people who know what the fuck the science is, and everybody else. Example, and then we got to sign off because I'm sure we're over time.
Yeah,
Um, uh, did y'all watch Leave the World Behind?
I checked.
No, no, but I plan on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a prime example. I know it's going to receive like a lot of accolades and whatnot, because it's an art project. It's barely a movie.
I get what you
it
mean by that, though.
yeah,
Just yeah, I
there are
do.
some films that you're like, oh, this is made for people who are cinephiles or who have studied film. This is not
Yeah.
Yeah.
made for the regular audience.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What was that movie? There was a movie. I think it was a war movie called like
1917.
1917. I felt like that was that as well, because it was like,
Mm-hmm.
you know how they shot it. Well, the special thing was that it was shot to look like it was shot in one take, like the
Mm-hmm.
camera was moving the whole time and
Right.
just following, this one guy basically the whole movie. That's what I thought about that movie. I thought the movie was all right, but just the way that it was shot was like, this is just amazing. Like I've
Mm-hmm.
never seen a movie like that where like they literally just followed a guy the entire movie, or supposedly followed a guy because they had to cut eventually. But
But I mean, like,
that's how it looked.
you,
Yeah.
you could even say those two episodes in The Bear. I don't know if y'all watched The Bear.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Watched them. Absolutely.
Yeah. I haven't watched
So
the second
they
season, but I plan to watch it.
well, in the first season they did the day the ticket machine broke.
Mm-hmm.
So that whole episode is
Oh yeah,
one
yeah.
take.
Yep, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it is, yeah. Which is crazy. Like for that
Right.
type of show specifically, like so many
Yep.
things
But
happening. So like, damn.
and so yeah, it's that thing where uh I think any artist who is really creating their own personalized work, I think they all should always consider how both of those audiences are going to receive their work. I think too often people only look at one or the other. In which I get that just because the regular audience, that's how you get paid. Your
Yes.
and the knowledgeable audience, that's who gets to validate the integrity of your work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think a filmmaker that's good at that, and I know he receives a lot of backlash, but Quentin Tarantino, because he does that where like the movie's pretty good as well, but then he also kind of appeals to his fans, like his particular the people that goes to see the movie because he made it, and I'm one of those people. But
Me too. Me too.
But I just think he does that. I think he does a good job of making it for both crowds. Like he's making it for his people, but he's also making it just for someone that wants to see a movie. I think.
Right.
So most of his movies, not all of them. So
I would say Wes Anderson too is probably another one for me who does that. Who does?
I feel
that
like
well.
Wes Anderson makes art projects more often than not. But
yeah, he has a cult following. That's true.
It's the same thing with like most A24 films. I think are art projects.
Yeah, a lot of those are. Agreed, man. Agreed.
But
well, yeah, man. I guess that's true. That's a very good point. I guess it's all like, I guess for me, the main thing would be, you know, when they ask somebody like, how do you know when you're done? I want to be able to like know when I'm done with it and be able to accept it. Like, all right. You know, so like in that regard, I'd want that to be a strength, you know? Like that's what I mean. A strength for me is just being able to tell, okay, I'm done. I can let it go, you know?
That's real. Well, we appreciate y'all. We love you. Fellas, before we get out of here, you got any last thoughts?
It feels so goddamn good to be back.
That's every word.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah, I would say, hopefully y'all have a productive, happy 2024.
In any transitions that come.
For my real niggas that celebrate New Year's and first day of spring like me, then y'all enjoy the rest of y'all regular year.
And if you got a problem with what Josh said, pull up on him.
Nah, don't pull up on me. We in Chicago. That shit means something different.
Yeah. I'm just playing. Hold on. I ain't trying to sell the homie out. Hold on.
Somebody like 2024, motherfucker.
Oh man, that's good.
But yo, we back. We in here, and by all means, whoever you connect to, wherever you connect, and however you be connecting. We encourage, empower, and implore you to always keep it vulnerable, keep it forthright, and please do your giddy goddamn best to keep it motherfucking honest. We are the InforMILLy Honest Podcast. Peace!
Peace, world.
Peace out.
Thanks for listening.
Four brothers from the Miller neighborhood of Gary, Indiana. Four brothers from the Miller neighborhood of Gary.